Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Sports Roundtable of Jack and Candon. John, welcome back from vacation. How are we doing, buddy?
Doing good, man. So, funny story about vacation. Yes, I did catch the football games. I dragged Rose with me.
I
The
was
ship,
shocked, by the way. I was 100% sure that you would not have seen a second.
Colbs, the ship was so busy. So, they had a sports bar over there, which, Colbs, you got a video from Rose was recording that from me to you and breaking down the tape, Zach and Hector, of me in the middle of the sports bar, just warning everybody that we're coming for them. But that place that I was standing in was absolutely packed. You couldn't get in there. The casino on the boat, that was absolutely packed. You couldn't get around there. We finally found this place called the Red Frog Pub on the boat. That was packed. Everybody was watching the game, but it got nuts. It got nuts for both the games, Colbs, both the games.
Well, I mean, the
And,
whole weekend was nuts.
Oh, crazy. Absolutely crazy. I mean, leading up to the football games, they had soccer on. It was dead. Nobody was there for soccer. Go figure. The NFL comes on. Boom. It was such a big hit, Colbs. The cruise director came over the intercom on the boat and said, all right, don't say, this is literally his words, don't say we don't do anything for you. We're putting on the game on the Lido deck.
Hey, that's a win. Whatever it takes to get any bit more of that football cocaine that we just had this weekend. Like, just give me another hit. I need more. I need more, man. So tell me, did you get to watch any? I heard that you got to watch something. What did you watch? Like, did you catch a little bit of all four? Did you catch just a little bit here and there?
I caught a little bit here and there, but the majority, I saw them the whole entire fourth quarter of the Bucks game, which was the best game. Well, I
no,
get
it wasn't. It got surpassed by the game after it. That was the nice thing about this weekend. Each game just was better than the great last game. They were all decided at the end of the damn game. 3 of those 4 games, John, ended by field goals when time was expiring. Like, it was nuts. And the other one ended with a touchdown in overtime. Like, you could not ask for anything more in a weekend of football.
You can't, man. And I'm just saying that Bucks game, that was intense. You should have seen the people that were loving Brady and hating Brady at the same time.
Oh, that's what happens. Inevitably, anywhere that you go, anybody that's watching Tom Brady play football, they have an opinion. They might love him, they might hate him, but everybody always has an opinion on Tom Brady. It's been the same way for 20 years now.
I wonder if it's going to be his last season.
No.
We shall see.
You kidding me? Yeah, with how good he still looks, the man's going to be... Yeah, everybody keeps doing this. Oh, is Tom Brady going to retire? You guys just keep on having your little conversations about that. I can't wait to wake up 20 years from now, the dude's still out here winning Super Bowls.
I hope so. I hope so. I wonder if it's going to be his last season with the Bucks. Maybe he'll go to a different team. Come on, Dallas.
Yeah, I did actually hear an interesting point brought up. Why doesn't he just go around and win a Super Bowl for all 32 teams? That way he can say he did something that nobody else has ever done.
Colbs, that would be awesome.
He hasn't already done enough.
That would be awesome if he just totally threw everyone off. And he's like, oh, you know what? Trevor Lawrence, the Jags. Yeah, I'm coming there real quick. I'm coming there. Get on the bench.
Trevor Lawrence can switch to tight end. I'm coming in hot. It's my turn now.
Yeah.
Jacksonville Brady's.
The Jacksonville Brady's. I like that. But yeah, Colbs.
John, did you want to start us off with a little who's on top, or are we going to move right into just talking about the games?
NHL standings, if that doesn't answer what we're going to be doing here. Eastern Conference Atlantic Division. We're going to be holding the same kind of trend. You know what? I'm not mentioning OTL and I'm not mentioning points. Too bad. The Panthers are on top. Guess what? Metropolitan Division. Colbs, guess who's on top over there?
Is it the Rangers, John?
Oh, it makes me happy. I don't know why, but it just makes me happy.
I know. It's totally inexplicable. There's no reason for you to just be excited that the Rangers are on top. Yet for some reason, every week you come in here and tell me what the Rangers' record is, whether they're on top or not. I don't understand it. Like, we don't have an affiliation to the Rangers. We're Bruins fans.
So, well, there's another team that I let you know about as well. We're going to get
the Kraken. I know.
Yeah, Kraken. Guess where they are in the Pacific
Everybody
Division.
just assumes that because I'm a Seahawk fan, hence the hat on my head, that I'm also a Seattle Kraken fan. I mean, I really have. I've never watched one of their games. I don't know what to root for.
Well, Colb's one of these days, but they're sitting in last place in the Pacific Division. You know who's on top in that division? They're always on top, Colbs. New expansion team,
Oh,
been around for a
yeah,
couple
is it,
years.
is it Vegas?
There you go. Central Division, the Avalanche sitting on top over there. All right, shifting over to the NBA. We got the Eastern Conference here. We're going to name the top 8 now that we're a little bit farther in the season. We got
Yes,
the
we
Heat.
are now far enough along into the NBA season, John. It is okay to go 1 through 8.
And then, of course, I'm going to have some honorable mentions just because that's how it works.
No,
All
no,
right.
I mean, it's one thing that we're gonna list off 16 teams. We might as well list all 30, right?
That's what I'm saying,
Can't have
man.
anybody left out.
Eastern Conference, we got the Heat, followed by the Bulls, the Nets, the Bucks, the Cavs, 76ers, the Hornets, and the Raptors sitting there at the number 8 seed.
John,
Honorable mention. What's up?
you know something about the Heat that's very strange? I know that they're the 1 seed over there right now, but the amount of injuries they've had to battle through just to even remain in the hunt has already been phenomenal. It's been like this immaculate season for them. And it doesn't matter what of these kids that they have on their roster. They just come out and they play hard and they end up winning all these games. But they've actually been banged up all year and they're still the number 1 seed. Miami's a dangerous team.
They are, man. Last 10 games, 7-3. So we're going to see what's going to happen with them. Honorable mention, Coles. Sitting in the 9 seed, the Celtics. The Knicks, they're still in it, Colbs. 11. They're not too far behind. They're really
No,
not.
I mean everybody's really in it up until like late February. So we're still gonna be going with that for a while. They're not gonna fade out of there entirely.
Hell yeah. And the reason why I want to mention the top 8, you're going to love this next one here, Copes. The Western Conference, we got the Suns sitting up there, the number 1. Warriors, Grizzlies, Jazz, Mavs, Nuggets, Timberwolves, and the number 8. Who is it, Colbs?
It's gonna be the Los Angeles Lakers. They looked awesome last night. I'll tell you right now. We'll talk about that a little bit more when we do our regular episode later in the week because I have a lot of thoughts on that Lakers game that I saw last night. It was very exciting and it was something where LeBron personally wished me happy birthday with his performance last night. So thank you, LeBron, for doing that for me. That was very sweet. But we're going to talk a little bit more about the Lakers on Saturday.
Not to get too much into it real quick, Colbs, but I do want to mention this because just getting off the boat, I just saw a couple of headlines like LeBron is the old LeBron. Like he's scoring over 30 a game lately again. Like
he's averaging the 4th most points of any year in his entire career. He's been playing for like 19 seasons, and this one he's at the 4th most points per game that he's ever had. And it's like he's Brady. He's not getting old. It's nuts. The guy's 37 years old. He's still out here playing like he's not even 27. He's playing like he's a kid.
In Colbs, of course, as we record this here today, I'm sure you already know, paying attention to the Lakers and paying attention to LeBron James, the significant date that today has, right? January 26th.
Oh, is this
Lakers history?
Is this the passing of Kobe?
Yeah, so a little shout out there. I can't believe it's been 2 years.
Yeah.
2 years. It flies by.
It's been 2 years since the world went to hell because that was the beginning of it. Kobe Bryant passed away and then everything went downhill. We ended up being stuck in our houses for 2 years.
Absolutely. Colbs, raise it up. Raise it up. I got a glass of wine. You got a course.
I'm going to raise it up
Cheers.
to Kobe specifically, not to the end of the world that took place 2 years ago starting today.
Fair enough. Cheers to that. So, Colbs, that's what we got going on over there in the NBA. I'm trying to think of an honorable mention team to name for you in the Western Conference, but I don't really have one, Colbs. Who's your honorable mention team that you could see as a sleeper? I mean, the Clippers are right there. Everybody else is so far back.
I mean, a lot of the people want to assume that the Clippers are going to be able to get it together because they got Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. I personally just don't see it. I think if any team that's outside of the playoffs right now is going to make any type of run, it could even be like a Sacramento.
Really?
Sacramento's got some good young talent on it right now. I could see them making a playoff push. They're not going to do anything in the playoffs, but I could see them making it there.
Yeah, I guess they're still in contention, but they're kind of way back there. So we'll see what happens with them. Last 10 games, they're 2-8. So we can be hopeful for it. So, Colbs, I do appreciate you mentioning them. Anyways, Colbs, here we go. All right, NFL. Dude, I know we just kind of.
There's 4 teams left. There's not a whole lot for who's on top for the NFL.
Oh, no, no, no. This is a different kind of who's on top right now. So, Colbs, we got the Chiefs. We got the Bengals.
Yes, we do.
Are you loving it so far?
Yes, I am.
Are you surprised that the Bengals even made it this far?
A little bit.
You are? Yeah.
I am, but I did call that they were going to beat the Titans, so I'm happy with that.
Dude, Ryan Tannehill with 4 picks.
So, John, we're gonna talk some about that, because one of the things I noticed is that game had the most clunky interceptions that I think I've ever seen. Everything went off a player's hands into a defender's hands.
Did it really?
There was not one just straight up normal interception. They were all nuts, all of them. Every pick. It was in both teams. Joe Burrow had a pick too. Same thing. Went right through a receiver's hands. Got like one-handed scooped up on the ground by a Titans player. It was crazy. I thought that dude was bringing it back for 6. That game was crazy, and that was the worst game that we watched over the course of this weekend. I don't understand it, man. This was the best weekend in NFL football that I've had in a long time. I couldn't believe it. And, I was going from there. I was actually on my way to a friend's house going to watch the Ngannou fight in the
Tony,
UFC.
Shout out.
What?
Shout out to Tony. Didn't you go see the game with Tony?
Oh, that was Sunday. No, Saturday was when these games are going. I went to Hobbies.
Gotcha.
So, John, that Bengals Titans game. So some of the things there that people were all interested and up in arms about, right? What would it look like with Derrick Henry's return? Well, it looked like 20 carries for 62 yards and a touchdown. Derrick Henry did look like his feet were back under him, though. I will give him that. It looked like he had healed from his injury. He looked just as fast as he has over the course of his career. So I don't think that there was a whole lot of slip up from him coming back from the injury. I honestly thought that it was going to look a little bit less impressive, even though the stats don't back that up. But, John, I don't know if you got to see anything from Derrick Henry specifically.
Dude, no, I didn't. I didn't really get to see really any of those. I didn't even get to see the highlights.
No, that's okay. That's fine. I can run you through a decent bit of this game here, John. So Joe Burrow, 348 yards, keeps the streak going where he's now just like continuously hot, and apparently it's not going away, which is really exciting because considering that game we just saw with Mahomes and Josh Allen going back and forth, I want more of that. Best opportunity of getting that is Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes. Just give me that. Let it be exactly the same. John, did you see that Joe Burrow got sacked 9 times? They really need an offensive line. Like, holy hell. They better use nothing with their draft picks other than offensive linemen. Them and the Seahawks should be doing the same damn thing. Like, it just offensive lineman. Seattle can use one on a corner. I'm okay with that. We can get one corner since I still don't know the names of my corners. But, like, I felt bad for Joe Burrow, man. He's out there making magic happen, and he's just getting beat up back there. I mean, he's a kid. Like, he's going to be out by the time he's 26 if this line doesn't get better.
Hey, 26, that'll be next year. He's 25 already.
I was going to say, he's probably already almost 26, isn't he?
So, yeah, Cobes, you're right. He might be out next year. That's what happened to him last year. He got injured. He didn't have the old line.
No, and it took all like 5 or 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Another thing, too, John, we finally got to see what it looks like with A.J. Brown and Julio Jones on the field at the same time playing football. And not bad. Like, it wasn't this immaculate thing that everybody thought it was going to be when Julio Jones ended up making his way over to Tennessee. It wasn't that kind of great, but it looked pretty good. And I don't think Tannehill threw the ball to anybody that wasn't named Julio Jones or A.J. Brown all game. Because as I went back through and I rewatched the highlight package, all I could notice is I'm like, wait a minute. That's A.J. Brown. That's A.J. Brown. That's A.J. Brown. That's Julio Jones. He didn't throw to anybody else, did he?
Oh, I was hopeful for Tannehill. I was hopeful that he was going to get it done.
Dude,
I like to see the Bengals do it, though.
One play call that made no sense in that game. So Tennessee scores a touchdown, and then there was a flag on Cincinnati during the extra point. So rather than just take the extra point and be up 7-6, they took the penalty to move to the 1-yard line instead of the 2, and they went for 2 and didn't get it, keeping the score at 6-6. Like, what the hell was the point? Like, you really needed to go up 8-6 instead of 7-6, and then you didn't get it. So you cost yourself a point that could have really meant something towards the end of that game had it just gone a little bit differently.
Yeah.
That's what you got for me there, John.
I
Yeah.
didn't see it. I didn't see it, Cole. So I didn't see any of that game. I'm
No,
clueless when it comes to that one.
that's
Here's
fine.
that.
I mean, more or less, though, this game, like I said, it was absolutely crazy with the way that the turnover battle went there because none of the turnovers made any sense. It wasn't just like bad throws, it was throws that were perfectly on target, hitting guys in the hands. Ball launches up, keeps getting picked off by defenders. And then at the end of the game, John, did you hear what the kicker did?
No.
So he he tells Joe Burrow as Joe Burrow's going to the sideline for him to come on. His name's McPherson to kick the game-winning field goal. He just
Scotty
congratulates
McPherson?
Joe Burrow. I don't know what his first name is. He's a kicker, John. But he's coming onto the field and he just pats him on the shoulder and says, "Congrats, you're going to the AFC Championship game." Then he
What?
just goes and drills the game winner. I'm like, that's actually really cool. And I feel like that's a lot of Joe Burrow too, because he's one of these young. He's kind of cocky. He's got a little bit of the Baker Mayfield
Oh, I saw
aspect
him
to
with the
him.
cigar. I
Yeah, oh
like
yeah,
it.
Joe Burrow's got a little bit of that to him. So I'm going to be rooting for that because I love when these players come in and they're cocky and they're good. Like I don't want to see it with a quarterback that's going to come in like even Baker Mayfield. I don't want him to be cocky because at this point it's like, dude, you're not good enough to be cocky. Joe Burrow's
Last
good enough to be cocky.
last time I saw that kind of cockiness and that kind of flair was in my OG, Trent Dilfer.
When did Trent Dilfer be cocky?
Oh gosh, what was that? 1996?
Do you have like a game that you're specifically thinking of? Like, is there maybe
No,
something more
I
to
don't even
that?
remember. I don't even remember the exact season, but I think
All
he
right,
threw
ladies and
for
gentlemen, just
21
know that
touchdown
Trent Dilfer
passes.
one time was cocky in 1996. That is all you need to know. If you show up with nothing else from this show tonight, know that one time in 1996, Dilfer, he was cocky.
And know this other fact right here. Cuba and Florida, they're 90 miles away from each other. There you
Yes,
go.
they are. From the southernmost point down there in Key West, it is exactly right about 90 miles to the border of Cuba.
So there you go. That's another useful fact. Thank you.
Wow, we might as well shut down the roundtable. I think we covered everything we need to. So, John, we're going to move into the second game here, which was actually, in my opinion, the most boring game of this football weekend was San Fran and Green Bay. Now, this one obviously ended being 13-10. San Fran's moving on, and Jimmy Garoppolo is by far the least exciting quarterback that's left in this. I really don't want San Fran to make it to the Super Bowl, but they do have a legitimate chance of upsetting the Rams here because, I mean, we just saw in week 18. We know that they can beat the Rams in Los Angeles because it literally just happened 3 weeks ago. So there is a chance that we get Jimmy Garoppolo and these Niners that don't really do anything exciting at all. They might be in the Super Bowl this year to just come in there and ruin my day. So hopefully the Niners don't make it any further than they are right now. But as we talk about that game, so we talked about the turnover battle being kind of strange in the Cincinnati Tennessee game. But with this one, it just seemed like some really bad timing on a lot of the turnovers. There were a couple of times that we saw Green Bay fumble the ball in San Fran territory. They were already in field goal range. And when you're talking about a game that ended on a field goal as time expires, it's difficult to say that it wouldn't have mattered. I mean, Green Bay had a chance to go up 14-0 like 3 times in the first half, and they just never did. And then inevitably, nobody ever even got the 14 points. So you're looking at it, and even if Green Bay just came away with field goals all those times, Green Bay would still have amounted to more points than San Fran ever scored. So it's really frustrating. It's another way that Aaron Rodgers loses in the playoffs. And believe me when I say Aaron Rodgers is pissed.
Very, very much so that Tom Brady might go to the Jags and Aaron Rodgers might go to the Lions just to make some noise.
Just to make a point. I
Just to
could
make a
see
point.
that. And that would showcase the greatness too. If we have Tom Brady winning Super Bowls in Jacksonville and we have Aaron Rodgers winning Super Bowls in Detroit, I mean, they're already both Hall of Fame level quarterbacks, but I mean, that just, I don't even think you wait the 5 years at that point. You just, as soon as they retire, you have that huge guy that walks out there when everybody's getting their jackets. He's the huge guy that just gives you the jacket and the bust. That guy should just trot onto the field whenever a next Super Bowl is won by either of those quarterbacks.
Or just, I don't know, yeah, something like that, or like the movie The Longest Yard. Just watched that last night. The Great Khali. Just have him trot out there too. Why
Oh
not?
my God, that's
Celebration.
right. I keep forgetting he was in that movie.
Dude, that movie had Stone Cold in it. It had
Had Kevin
Goldberg in it.
Nash in there.
It had Kevin Nash, who was like acting very wild because they replaced his anabolic steroid pills with estrogen. That was hilarious. Colbs, that movie was great. Me and you got to link up. We got to watch that together.
I like the amount of movie ideas that you come up with for us to sit down and watch, and then we never sit down and watch any of these movies.
No, we are going to watch these movies very, very soon. And I say that every week.
We legitimately are going to have a 14-hour movie bender just because John stacked up all these movies we have to watch, even though half of them we've already seen.
Globes, we've been saying we're going to watch the new Halloween Kills movie for
since
months.
Like the pandemic started.
True. That's awesome.
John, just again to reiterate a little bit to finish up on the Packers conversation here. And I don't know what the thought process is beyond just that. I think Aaron Rodgers clearly at this point, I think he's out. I don't think that there's a way that you could like legitimately even suggest that he's going to stay in Green Bay to where he's ultimately just putting himself in a position to lose week in and week. Well, not even week in, week out, just year in and year out. He's been 13-3 each of the last 3 seasons. They've been the number 1 seed in the NFC. They haven't even made it to a Super Bowl in these 3 seasons. I just can't help but think to myself that Aaron Rodgers has to be on his way out, right? Like, there's no way that they can keep him after this.
Where the hell would he go?
I don't know. And that's the fun part about this, John, is honestly, because I don't know that he has a better situation somewhere else than he does here in Green Bay. But I just don't think that it's worked. And
the Saints?
It does seem that the Saints would be great for him. But it would be for pretty much anybody because the Saints have a loaded defense. They have all the things that they need. They just don't have a quarterback. So whether it be Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, any of these quarterbacks that are on their way out, if they can go find themselves their way to New Orleans, that's the coveted place to go if you're a quarterback looking to join a new team. And honestly, I think that those are probably the only 2 names that take just that first dibs spot. It's either Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson. Everybody else falls into second and third and fourth place. It's just those 2 guys. So I think a lot of it might depend on where the first one of them goes, because I've heard, like, I keep hearing that Russell Wilson wants to go to the Giants. I'm like, why?
No way. Really?
Yeah, that's what I keep hearing. I just keep hearing the Giants pop up in conversation. I'm like, why does he want to go there? There's nothing good there.
Well, the NFC East, he could win.
yeah, we'll give it that.
That's awesome.
John, we're going to move over to the Los Angeles Rams Tampa Bucks game. So, I mean, I have to start this out by saying that when that game was 27-3, I was watching this game with Michelle here behind me and with a couple of our friends down in Weathersfield, and the game was 27-3. I'm just sitting there on the couch.
It's over.
Feet propped up. No. I'm like, you guys just wait. No, it wasn't over. I'm like, it's Tom Brady. It's the playoffs. This isn't over. This ain't done. And then I don't know if you've noticed this, John, or if you caught it during the game, but there's a certain essence of magic that happens when Tom Brady plays football in the playoffs. That's just unexplainable. Yeah, you cannot explain this.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it all started when Von Miller caught him in the chin. He bit his own lip, and then he got hit with unsportsmanlike conduct. And I was literally sitting there just yelling. I'm like, who else is wearing number 12 for Tampa? Because Tom Brady's never gotten a penalty, ever. It doesn't happen. So I was confused just by seeing that. But from that point forward, I mean, it took a little bit for the offense to really get going after that. But it was 27-3, and all of a sudden, Tom Brady just started making shit happen that you don't see in NFL games, right? So there was that pass, or that snap rather, that went soaring past Matt Stafford. He wasn't paying attention, and the snap just drifted like 40 yards behind him.
Yep.
And then that ended up being recovered by JPP. And all I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, Tom Brady caused that snap. I don't know how. I don't know what happened, but Tom Brady did that. There was a 47-yard field goal pretty late in the game that Matt Gay could have put up the Rams by double digits when it had gotten close. Could have pretty much put Tampa out of the game. Kick comes up short. You know why? Brady. It's just stuff that doesn't make sense. 47 yards. You don't see those kicks come up short. You might see them go wide. They don't come up short. That's Tom Brady magic. It was just nuts. And one other thing that I noticed too, John, I couldn't help but just fear for Matt Stafford's life, because Matt Stafford got into it with Ndamukong Suh. And
Oh,
you
that's a
might remember,
lose-lose.
well, you also might remember that Ndamukong Suh played with Matt Stafford with the
Yeah.
Lions for
Oh,
the
yeah.
beginning of both of their careers.
Yeah.
And all I'm thinking when that snap went over, I'm like, he's going to turn around and see that Sue monster running at him. And he's going to be like, hell no, hell no. And that's pretty much what happened. Granted, it wasn't Sue that was there to make the recovery, but I'm telling you, he just turned around. He looked over his shoulder. He saw Ndamukong running down the field at him, and he's like, nope, 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 nope. This guy has reason to hurt me because I chatted with him a little bit too much earlier and got him flagged. So I don't want anything to do with that monster. There is one guy that you don't want to piss off in the NFL. It is Ndamukong Suh. That guy will come and take your life.
Colts,
I'm just making that claim now.
it was awesome, though, talking about Stafford. It was so ironic to see him throw the cup on those last 2 passes to lead to the
Cooper Kupp
game. Oh,
Cooper Kupp
man.
has this ability that nobody else has to just be open. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
Like everybody knew or should have known.
It was going
Hey,
to him.
yeah, there's 40 seconds left. You know what he's probably going to be looking for? I bet Stafford's probably looking for Cooper Kupp, the guy that just
Yeah.
broke like every receiving record in the whole history
Yeah.
of the NFL this year.
Yeah.
And somehow he's by himself twice. I'm like, what the hell is that?
That was awesome to see, though, because I'm
But
like,
how do you lose the best receiver in football twice back to back when the game's on the line?
I have no clue. I don't know what was going on. You got to expect that pass coming, but dude, kudos to
John,
them.
John, to more of this Brady magic, right? With about 12 minutes left of the game, Brady converts a 4th and 14. Like, it just nuts stuff right there, right? The
Mhm.
kick comes up short. The Bucks don't get a 4th and 9, but it's immediately thereafter that Stafford has that snap that just goes soaring past him into the sky. And then we get to see Brady hit Mike Evans for a 55-yard touchdown over Jalen Ramsey, the best corner in the NFL.
And
Like,
Colts,
what?
I didn't understand that pass either. It looked like Jalen Ramsey gave up on that. I don't know.
It kind of did to me too, and I don't understand why. Like, you're the best corner in the NFL in a tight game. Like, you kind of got to play up on, Mike Evans, who's a Pro Bowl level wide receiver. I don't understand what was going on there, and the only thing that I can make sense of any of it, Tom Brady.
That's it. Yeah,
Like, there's nothing else to take away from this game. Tom Brady did Tom Brady, except the only thing that I don't understand is how did they still lose? Because Tom Brady did Tom Brady and Tom Brady things, and they still lost.
I don't get it either. You never see that happen. Once everything started going the Bucks way, I'm like, yep, he's the comeback king. It's
Well,
the
even
Bucks
their
game.
touchdown that tied the game with 42 seconds left, that was a 4th and goal.
Yeah.
And they just handed off to Fournette. They don't even think about, like, most teams try to pass there. I'm like, that was ballsy.
It was
They just
4th
put
and
the
1.
season on Lenny.
And I was pumped for Lenny, though. I was pumped for him. That was
Yeah,
good to see.
it was cool to see. It was good to see Lenny get to just be effective because you have to feel bad for anybody that ever spent their career in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
So it was nice for him to have that moment. I don't understand how the Bucks ended up losing that game. I've seen Brady in this position so many times, and every time they end up winning.
Oh, let's hope that we could see it again next year. Maybe we will, maybe we won't.
I don't even need to see that. It could be. I really wanted the Rodgers Brady rematch, and I didn't get either of them. I'm like, now I'm looking at this NFC Championship. I'm like, this is bullshit. I don't want to watch either of these teams next week.
It'll make for interesting football, though. That's for sure. Because
Oh,
they're big time underdogs. Big
but
time.
as we no, they're not. It's a 3.5 point spread.
No, I mean for like who would have even been there. Looking at it before, the Bengals weren't even a thought when I was
No,
looking at it before.
that's a good point. And granted, I think the Bengals season's about to come to an end just because, oh my God, what
Do you
they're about
really?
to run into. Yeah. Like, what do you think the Bengals are beating the Chiefs?
Oh, no, I don't think so. Because Mahomes looks like he's on fire. He's throwing it
That's
sidearm. He's throwing
That's
it
what I'm talking
underhand.
about, man. And we're gonna talk about this Buffalo Kansas City game because I'm telling you that this was exactly you weren't here last week, John, for when I did the episode by myself. But I was telling people, and I even said it, I think the last episode that you were here for. I was just telling people that this has the ability to be one of the best games that we have seen, not just this season, but like an all-time NFL Films game that everybody's going to go back and have on ESPN Classic in 10 years. And
Mhm.
it was every bit of that, John. Oh my God, this game was the best game that I've seen since that Rams Chiefs game from Monday Night Football when I was in a hotel in wherever in Massachusetts. Like that was the best game that I think I've ever seen. And then this might be the second. Like, I'm not kidding. I had so much fun watching that game, John. And I don't know how much of that game specifically did you get to see?
Just the highlights, bro. Just the freaking YouTube highlights, a 17-minute reel. And it just seemed like a high octane offensive attack from
Well,
both sides. Like
one
nothing
thing
could
that's
be
funny
stopped.
about that though, John, is this game started out, it was 7-7 at the end of the first
Mhm.
quarter. And I'm thinking to
Mhm.
myself, I'm like, this is going to be a defensive struggle. This is going to be difficult. I thought these teams had the ability to move the ball at will. And then after a quarter, I'm like, damn, these defenses are this good because they are two of the top scoring defenses in the NFL. So it didn't shock me that that was the way it was going. I was just like, man, I thought I was going to get to see something fun.
Then
Ha!
all of a sudden, all
Ha!
of a sudden just blew up.
Dude, the first touchdown of that game, the
Devin
Bills again
Singletary.
with a 4th and goal, they hand the ball off, and I'm like, "Oh my god, that's a nuts play call." But I think it's just because everybody in the world expects that that ball's gonna be in Josh Allen's hands because he's that dual threat monster that by the way, Josh Allen, he's not gonna be able to play till he's 30 unless he stops running shoulder first into everybody. Like, oh my god, man, he plays more physical than the linebackers do.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. He'll be around for a while.
I don't know if you'd caught still in the first quarter, Mahomes had a whole drive that he just ran down the entire field. Like
Uh-huh.
it
I
just
did see
every
that.
play was just Mahomes took off, Mahomes took off. He had one scoot that he went for like 40 yards. It was nuts. I'm sitting there watching this, and I mean, it was football crack, John. We're sitting there and we're just watching these guys doing, they're doing zoomies in the backfield. They're trying to figure out where it is that they can make the play. So they're all spinning around. Mahomes, by the way, learned how to be Russell Wilson. I don't know when it happened.
What do you
He
mean by
didn't have
that?
that in the past. So he just immediately he can take the ball now, and if the line doesn't hold up right away, he does the whole backspin and everything like Russ does. And he wasn't able to do that against Tampa in the Super Bowl last year. I think that Mahomes actually taught himself, hey, I need to sit down and watch a little bit of film on a guy that doesn't have an offensive line just so I know what to do if it breaks down. Dude, he learned it because he looked like he was trying to emulate Russell Wilson on a lot of those plays.
Well, Colbs, I feel like he hasn't really used that element of his game all season long. I want to pull up some of his stats here just to see what his rushing yards were on the
Well, I can tell
season.
you passing wise, he went 33 for 44, 378 yards, and 3 touchdowns. No interceptions in this game, by the way, John. That tells you how precise these quarterbacks are. And I never thought that Josh Allen would be a passer that would be significant after his first like year and a half in the league. I thought he was always going to have a 52% completion percentage and he was going to turn the ball over 4 times a game.
So, Colbs, how many times do you think on the season that Patrick Mahomes rushed the ball for more than 5 times in a game?
Honestly, I'd say it probably happened maybe 5, 6 times.
4 times, five
Yeah.
times, 5 times. Yeah. Um, how many times do you think he rushed the ball for more than 50 yards in a game?
Oh God, probably maybe once.
A couple times. Yeah, it looks like 3 times there if you count the playoffs. So, dude, he kind of brought that element back to him because he didn't really have that all season long, so that was cool to see.
No,
I
but
like to see that
again,
in the
the
highlights.
Bills' defensive line is very strong, so they were getting
Mm.
in there. And when he was immediately chased out of the pocket, he had to make a play. And whether it be these sidearm missiles that he can launch 84 yards down the field as if like he just does it with a flick of the wrist, or it be
Mhm.
that he just takes off himself and goes and gets that first down. Patrick Mahomes has figured it out, man. I'm telling you, this is a new element to a quarterback who's already probably the best in the league.
Hell yeah, man. So are you basically saying the Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl?
Oh God, yeah, yeah. This
Yeah?
isn't. I honestly, I mean, I know that Kansas City just lost to Cincinnati like 4 weeks ago, but I'm telling you right now that they're not losing that game again. Cincinnati really needed that game in the regular season. Now Kansas City also really needs this game.
So who's going to the Super Bowl? We got KC.
I think it's I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know what to do with the NFC game. I could see that one going either way.
I
And
got the
granted,
Rams.
I really want the Rams because the Niners, I don't want the Niners in there. I don't want them in there dirtying up my Super Bowl, making it boring.
It's going to be the Rams, Colbs.
I hope it's the Rams.
It's
I honestly, I could see a scenario like if we get the rematch of the Super Bowl from 2 years ago with San Fran and Kansas City. Like, I don't want to watch Jimmy G in the Super Bowl. Like, he's not that level. I don't want to see that.
So you know how Jimmy G has gotten a ton of hate this year, right? But if let's just say the Niners end up winning and Jimmy G has a good Super Bowl game, throws for like 2 touchdowns, no picks, 250.
But and
Are they
again, that's
keeping
what we
him?
classify as a good game for him. That's where the problem lies. Like, we were never going to see 348 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Are they going to keep him if they win? Probably, right?
Oh yeah, if they win the Super Bowl, they're not going to kick him out of there.
So that's an interesting point of view. It's like, I don't
Really
know.
struggling with your headphones tonight, huh?
Yeah, they keep falling out, man. I usually have the over the ear ones. That's why I haven't used regular earbuds in a long time.
I also wanted to make note from that Bills Chiefs game that Josh Allen, I believe, is an actual missile launcher. Like, I think he's got like a video game cheat code bullshit thing where he can just out of nowhere rip the ball for honestly further than a football field. I don't understand it, man. Like, and he's coming at it too. Everybody talks about Mahomes with all these side angle throws. Josh Allen was doing the same thing on the other end.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just as talented and he has the whole ground game. I don't know. Dude, Josh Allen, he's special, dude. Buffalo's got something good going on over there. Colbs, we might be looking at the Bills and the Chiefs going forward every single year in the playoffs. It
I'm
might be
okay
two
with it.
dynasties.
I'm
Yeah.
okay with it. Just give it to me. Make it the new Pats Colts, the Manning Brady. Like, just give it to me. Just keep feeding it to me. I'll keep taking it. It's always a great game. I'm fine with that. And John, did you see just how many points were scored from the 2 minute warning of that game to the end of that game?
I didn't get a chance to catch that
I'm going to
part.
be honest with you. I don't have that written down. I'm just kind of off the top of my head going with this. I believe that it was something along the line. I think it was like 24 points just from the
Jesus.
2 minute warning to the end of that game. Like, how nuts is that? The third
Crap.
quarter, John, the Bills had 4 plays. They had a 3-and-out and a massive bomb that Josh Allen hit a touchdown for.
Oh, dude, I'm literally looking at Josh Allen's stats right now. 763 rushing yards on the season.
Yeah, he was
That
third in the
is
NFL behind Lamar Jackson and Jalen Hurts.
that is insane.
Yeah.
Insane. Oh, man, with
Did you see that
36 touchdowns
receiver,
and 15
Gabriel
picks.
Davis? I had never heard this dude's name before in my life. He caught all 4 Josh Allen touchdowns.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, whoever had him in fantasy had an amazing day.
I don't think fantasy still going? Oh, I guess the daily fantasy stuff is.
Daily fantasy. Yeah, that's still going
That
on.
had
But
to be the
Gabriel,
steal. You spend like 1 point to get to get Gabriel Davis. He comes out and puts up 208 yards and 4 touchdowns.
in Colts, guess what? Gabriel Davis is 22 years old. Josh Allen, 25 years old. So if that goes to show you something that they're going to be together for quite a while.
That I think might be the most impressive thing about all this, John, is that all of these star level talents in the NFL are so young. They're not waiting to be 28 years old before they hit their prime anymore. They're just coming into the league almost in their prime.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Like Gabriel Davis, he started last season, 21 years old. So I don't know. Are they going to stick around a little bit longer? Are they going to?
Joe Burrow's in year 2. Mahomes has only played like 4 seasons. I think this is his 5th year. Like,
actually, I
this is
think
nuts.
Mahomes is younger than Burrow, if I'm not mistaken. I really
No,
do
no.
think.
Mahomes has to be at least a year older than Burrow.
We're about to find out right
I
now.
know that Joe Burrow was coming out of college a little bit older than most quarterbacks do, but no,
Yeah, he's Patrick Mahomes is 26, and I think Joe Burrow is 25. So I think he does have him by a little bit. Yeah, Joe Burrow's 25, Patrick Mahomes is 26.
all that tells me is we get 10 years of those guys going at it. And you mentioned that Josh Allen's 25, so 10 years of him too. Oh my God, man. The NFL's pretty well set up. Like, I know that Brady's never gonna retire, but if he were to, at least we would have like a new star to take the reins.
In Colbs, not to mention too, this past draft class with Trevor Lawrence and all those cats, right? Trevor Lawrence being 22 years old, he still has high expectations. Yeah, we know the Jags suck, but
Dude.
if he starts to get rolling, like everybody anticipates him to get rolling, can you imagine the
Well, here's
quarterback
what I'm
level?
looking at with this draft class. This came in as like this highly touted thing, kind of like we had with the year where it was Josh Rosen and Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield. Like this draft class came out the same way. And both those draft classes, there's not really anybody that you look at and go, yeah, they're really good. Like I think Baker Mayfield's the best out of that class. And I mean, he's all right. Like, and then this class, it's like, Mac Jones was the best in year one, and he didn't look great by any means. He just looked better than everybody thought, except for apparently Zach from breaking down the tape, who just called it.
Colbs, Josh Rosen, 24. Just saying.
We're still going to hold out hope for backup quarterback Josh Rosen.
Dude, I'm just saying it. You never freaking know. It could happen. It definitely could happen. Derek Carr looks like he's going to be making some noise in the NFL for years to come, too.
Yeah, Derek Carr at this point is probably 29, 30 years old, but he looks very good right now. I like buying in on Derek Carr's stock. I think he's going to continue to get better.
So, yeah, the people that we could bank on playing, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, and AP, Adrian Peterson. He's going to continue playing for some reason, too. He's going to be like Frank Gore. Frank
He
Gore
is
doesn't
still he's
disappear.
trying to get another roster spot right now. He's out there looking for another job. I'm like, man, this guy he just wants to keep running the football. Hey, good for him.
Yeah, good for him, man.
So,
Hell with it.
John, we got to talk just a little bit before we get out of here about these games coming up this weekend.
Yes, sir.
So we've got San Fran at Los Angeles. What are you thinking? Because I
Los
don't know what to
Angeles
do with this one.
in a
So you
total
do think
landslide.
total landslide. Okay.
Oh, big
All right.
time. It's going to be, I'm going to guess it's going to be, I'm going to say
104 to
28,
6.
28 to 13.
28-13. Okay. I don't know that I'd call that a total landslide, but we'll go with that. Oh man. I think when I'm looking at that one, obviously the offensive talent benefits the Rams much more than it does the
Yeah.
Niners, but there's something about that Niners team, especially
They're gritty,
defensively.
man. They're gritty.
They are. They play rough. Like they're there to win. And honestly, like I would not be shocked in any way, shape, or form if San Fran's walking out of here with like a 23-20 victory because they're able to make Matt Stafford do Matt Stafford and make mistakes. Because that's kind of what Matt Stafford does when games matter, because he hasn't played in any games that matter. Like Matt Stafford's had this illustrious career, but he's not. Yeah, okay, he's played now one game.
Comeback win, maybe of the whole entire NFL.
It wasn't a comeback win, John. He almost blew a 27-3 lead.
Well, had he not thrown those passes, I mean, I don't know. You give Brady back the ball. He's on fire.
No, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that
one.
Matt Stafford's not a good quarterback by any means. He makes mistakes at really bad times, and I could see San Fran capitalizing on that. I think if I had to call this game, I think I'd say it's probably going to be 23-29ers.
All right.
I don't want that to be the case, by the way. I would prefer the 104-6 landslide for the Rams.
The Rams are going to dominate this game. They're going to dominate it.
Now, with that, also, to something you said earlier, I do think that if the Niners lose this week, I do think that Jimmy G's out of there. I think that they trade him, get whatever they can for him, and they start Trey Lance next year.
So where the hell does he go?
Well, that's, again, John, once Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers hit their nesting places, burped, I think that really starts the train for everybody else. I don't think we're going to see any quarterback movement that's significant until we know where those two guys are going, because they get their pick. They can go take whatever teams they want to go take. So if that, for example, ends up being New Orleans and New York, then all of a sudden you got Denver out there looking for a quarterback. You've got Pittsburgh looking for a quarterback. Obviously now Green Bay and Seattle would then need quarterbacks.
That's right.
So there's places for some of these quarterbacks to land, and this doesn't look to be a draft class that has any kind of highly touted people, which, by the way, tells me that it's probably going to be one of the best draft classes of all time for quarterbacks. It's probably going to be the like the 83 class of Marino and John Elway, whoever else was in there. I don't remember what the other guys were.
We'll have Big Ben go to the Washington football team. We'll have Ryan Fitzpatrick go to the Giants.
If he's not coming back to Pittsburgh, he better be retiring.
We'll have
He's no
Ryan.
good.
We'll have Fitzmagic go somewhere too. I don't know where
Yeah,
the hell.
yep. If it's magic, he'll definitely be kicking around. He's going to be turning the tires. Like, hey, you know what? Where can I go? Just kind of make somebody's season 8 and 9.
Or Coles, he'll go somewhere. Maybe he'll go back to Buffalo and be Josh Allen's backup.
Actually, that's not a terrible move because, like I said, Josh he's going to be prone to getting hurt if he keeps playing this way. Wouldn't hurt to have a little Fitz magic hanging out on the bench.
And he's loved by the fans over there. He was in the
Oh,
stands,
he is.
Coles.
Yeah, I
He was in
saw
the
that.
stands, shirtless. That was the
Fitzmagic's out there
highlight.
still vying for a spot. It's funny to me too. The Harvard grad randomly loves to party with the most insane partying people in the NFL with Buffalo's fan base. Since Buffalo has nothing else going on, it's just the Bills and the Sabres and hockey. They have
True.
nothing going on. So they're always like that is the destination in Buffalo is to go watch a Bills game and throw each other through tables on fire and shit because they're all crazy. And the Harvard grad just found himself like, yeah, you know what? I like it here.
Well, you got the Bills fans just throwing each other through tables. I don't know. It seems like a perfect recruiting opportunity for WWE, AEW. Just see who takes the best bumps through the tables that are on fire. You could be like, have you ever considered wrestling before? Because the way you just took that on the pavement, yeah, we want to do that again. It
Dude,
seems
it's
like an
nuts to
easy
me when they
shoo-in.
do like the Swanton bomb off the top of an SUV through a table that's on fire. I'm like, you guys don't have
Swanton
to do
bomb,
this. Nobody's paying you for this.
the Swanton bomb,
Swanton bomb. What I call it, the Swanton
Swanton.
bomb.
Swanton bomb. I like that. So Coles, that's got to be your own style. You got the vacation hat on
Oh,
right
good. I
now.
just have to figure out my own flip to do off
Yes.
something that's high in the air through a
We're gonna
burning
call it the
table.
Swanton bomb, and it's gonna be a huge thing that's gonna be happening not at the Seahawks games, but at the Kraken games. It's
I
gonna
don't know
be a
why you
huge
keep
thing.
making me a Seattle Kraken fan. I have no interest in them right now.
Well, keyword you said right now, but you're I know you're keying up. You're getting ready to rock and roll for next season.
John, what do you think about the Bengals Chiefs game? What do you think's going to happen? What do we see?
Oh man, a part of me thinks the Bengals is going to pull off a massive upset.
That one
But
would be a little bit more massive because the Chiefs are favored by 7.5.
oof, wow, 7.5, really?
I know. I actually, even though I do think that the Chiefs are going to win this football game, I'm taking the Bengals on that spread. When I'm looking at that, I mean, the Bengals did just beat them a few weeks back. I don't think that this is one where Kansas City just comes out and blows them out of the water. Granted, I don't think anybody can keep up with what Mahomes just did. Like, if
Right.
Mahomes comes out and plays like that, you're done. You're already done. Like, don't even take the field. Just walk off.
Colbs, I'm gonna go with the oof. I want to say the Chiefs, but I'm gonna go with the Bengals because they got something special going on. I feel like they're coming in at a different energy level.
Uh, Joe Burrow's thrown for like 1,600 yards in the last 4 games, man. Like, he's crazy right now.
Yeah, they're clicking. They're clicking, but I feel like that game is going to be the Super Bowl all in itself. The Chiefs and the Bengals. Like, I feel like that might be bigger than the Super Bowl matchup.
Man, you know what I really want? I mean, I just told you that I want it to be Rams Chiefs. And what I would like is for that game to take place and we get just another one of these total football crack moments in the
Mm,
Super Bowl. Because usually the Super Bowl is not this high scoring affair. It's usually that you get teams that have either a hot defense or an all around good defense. And granted, this year, I mean, the Bengals don't really have much of a great defense, but the other 3 teams all have some solid defensive pieces.
they do. They do. That's what's going to be interesting. Cloves, you know what might be the downfall of the Bengals though is that offensive line. The Chiefs are
Oh,
probably
it
going to
will
find
be.
it's going to
Yeah,
find a way to
the
get a
Chiefs
ton
have a
of
good D
pressure.
line.
They're going to find a way to get a ton of pressure on Burrow. Even if you make a couple of mistakes, Mahomes can bury you really, really fast. They can go
Yeah.
up on like
Yeah.
two,
Like
three
in
scores
13 seconds.
like that.
We just saw
And
it.
then you're one dimensional. Mixon will be completely out of the mix. No
That
Mixon
dude's a
in the
bowling
mix.
ball, by the way. He
Yeah.
doesn't go down easy. But
No.
no, John, in all seriousness, and by the way, I just have to make quick mention that 2 of the starting linemen on the Chiefs defensive line were Seahawks like 3 years ago. I'm like, you assholes couldn't even keep these guys for just a little bit longer because clearly they're good. I understood why we parted ways with Frank Clark. He wanted a lot of money that we didn't have to give him. But I really liked Jaron Reed, and I see Jaron Reed out here just causing fumbles left and right. And I'm like, what the? Ugh.
Well, too bad nobody has Rashad Penny talking about bowling balls going in here. The hottest dude in the last freaking 3 games of the regular season out of a running back
Yeah,
position.
he really was. He really was. Like if this, I swear, if this dude comes out and hurts his ankle in week 1, I'm gonna be livid because this guy has fed me enough that I'm just like, you know what? I think Rashad Penny now has a chance of being a good player in the NFL. It might not be a wasted draft pick. Give me more of this. Give me more of it. I'm in on it. And if he comes out there and blows his ankle in week 1 and then puts the ball on the ground when he comes back from injury, I'm telling you right now, I'm totally disowning that guy.
You moving on from him?
I already had. He brought me back in just because he literally over 3 games did better than any other running back in the NFL.
Dude, Seattle still got a good team. Is there a chance you think Russ stays there?
Yeah. I have heard that he has also expressed interest in at least finishing out his contract, in which he has 2 more years with Seattle. So I could see a scenario in which Russ just comes back. I feel like with 2 straight off seasons of hearing about it, it becomes less and less likely that you see that happen. I think it's more likely that I don't want to see him go to the damn Giants. Like I want to root for him wherever he goes, and I have a hard time believing that that's a fun team even with Russ on it.
Colbs, just want to point out too, DK, he had a pretty good year, almost hit 1,000 yards, but he's only
Yeah,
24 years old as
he
well.
he had 1,000 yards his rookie year. Him and Tyler Lockett both had 1,000 yards that year.
So had Russ not gotten injured and been out for a few weeks, Gino stepped in there, would he have
You know,
probably had it? Maybe.
one thing that I heard, and I've been hearing this, is that a lot of people are saying the Seahawks don't have a number 1 wide receiver, and I'm like, they have 2 number 1 wide receivers. What are you talking about?
People are
Like,
saying that?
yeah, people are legitimately saying that Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf, neither one of them is a number 1 receiver. I'm like, yeah, they both are actually. Like, I am loaded at receiver right now just by having those 2. Like, that's the position I worry the least about right now.
That is surprising that people are actually coming out and saying that, but
Oh, I'm hearing it everywhere. Everybody's like, yeah, they don't have a number 1. They just got 2 number 2s. I'm like, the hell they do?
well, Tyler Lockett coming off with a 1,000-yard season, a little bit over that actually, with 8 touchdowns, and your starting quarterback end up getting injured. So those numbers could have been a little inflated as well had
Yeah.
Russ not gone out. So
No, Tyler Lockett's a legit guy. I mean, DK Metcalf obviously has a higher
same.
upside, but I would actually take Lockett over Metcalf if I'm just given the option. You get one of these guys.
Hey, hell, DK's got a opportunity to kind of be like Megatron. I feel similar physique. We'll see
Yeah,
what
I mean, he's
happens.
gonna have to keep working on the route running, but a lot of people said that he wasn't good at it at all, and he looks like he can do it just fine. He's just not elite at it. He's not that is one thing, John, about Antonio Brown that I'll give him credit for.
Oh,
That guy
still to
can
this
run
day.
routes better than anybody.
Still to this day. Speaking of which, Colbs, I'm sure that you heard he's kind of going viral. He wants to play with Baltimore. He's calling
Yeah.
out
Yeah, I did hear
Lamar.
that. Yeah, and Lamar wants him. Don't be
So
shocked
yeah.
if next year Baltimore has himself an AB problem.
Oh man, dude. I like AB. I'm pulling for him. You know that I like him. I want to see him do good, but he's kind of burning his bridges, dude.
Well, he's
He's
got to get out of his own way. That's
yeah.
that's all that's in his way is himself. You see by the way what he did where he wished Tom Brady and the Bucks good luck
Yeah.
before their game and then afterwards put up a
Yep.
meme.
I
I'm
did see
like, come
that.
on, dude.
I saw that. I was like, "Oh, AB, come on, man. Don't do
You're trying to
that."
get teams to believe that you're a team player and you're going to come in and do the right things, and then that's what you go and do. Like
Mhm.
this is what you're showing to teams. I'm a terrible teammate.
Mhm. Mhm.
All right,
Oh,
John. I know at this point we've run pretty long. Do we want to go ahead and wrap this thing up? Get on out of here.
let's get on out of here, Bubs.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, rate, subscribe, review the show as always.